Right, you are watching The Context. It's time for our weekly segment, AI Decoded. Welcome to AI Decoded, time of the week when we look in depth at some of the most eye-catching stories in the world of artificial intelligence. We're going to start with The Guardian newspaper, a new educational programme using artificial intelligence and virtual reality to future-proof the testimonies of Holocaust survivors. AI Decoded met Holocaust survivor Manfred Goldberg, who's featured here in the article, and we'll be showing that in just a moment. Meanwhile, the Times of Israel carries a warning from the United Nations that developments in artificial intelligence could lead to a surge in Holocaust denial. A report published this week by UNESCO says AI could result in false and misleading claims about the Holocaust spreading online. Well, with me is our regular AI contributor, Priya Lakhani, CEO of AI-powered education company Century Tech. Priya, great to see you. How are you?
Good to see you, Lewis. Very well, thank you.
Right, you've been busy. Tell us what you've been doing.
So I visited a school in South London and we had a group of students in a classroom and they experienced what we're just about to see. So they experienced the testimony of Holocaust survivors and they were leveraging artificial intelligence and virtual reality to experience this. What's most interesting about this story, Lewis, is yes, it's a story about using AI in education, in schools, and potentially changing the delivery of history lessons. But it's also very much a story about preserving the truth when it comes to history. So I can't wait for you to see it.
Well, it seems like an incredible opportunity to use this technology for an incredible reason. Let's take a look at your report now.
The first time I arrived in Stuttgart, I was 14 years old. As the train stopped, the doors to our wagons were unlocked and opened from the outside. We had no idea where we had been taken, and guards began yelling at us, "Come on, quickly, jump, run, run, no time, faster."
I'm at a school in South London and today we're witnessing history education being completely revolutionised by artificial intelligence and virtual reality. Students are not only learning about the Holocaust by reading their textbooks, but they're having lifelike conversations through the testimony of Holocaust survivors. So let's have a look and see how it's impacting their education.
Part 1, Testimony 360. You are going to have the chance to engage with an interactive recording of a Holocaust survivor. Manfred Goldberg was filmed over 5 days in 2021 and he was asked over 1,000 questions. All of his responses to those questions were paired with potential questions that young people could ask, and that's edited into what we call an interactive testimony. Headphones on, off you go.
So what happened to your brother? What were the camps like?
Manfred, can you describe the concentration camp?
The work entailed working outside, out in the open, not in the factory. And in winter, it was very, very difficult and sort of brutally cruel because we were dressed in quite thin garments which had been handed to us, and the temperature could be well below zero, sometimes as low as -15 in winter, with snow and ice on the ground. And I sometimes am not certain which was harder to bear, the cold or the hunger. We suffered from both.
So Brianna, how has being able to speak to Manfred in this way and learning in this way impacted your learning about the Holocaust compared to learning from a textbook?
So Testimony 360 has given students like the chance to see from a survivor's actual point of view. So it's not like in a textbook where you're just reading and you're not really like understanding, but through this way you can actually ask questions, you can be interactive with the survivor, and he's given us real answers because it's his actual like point of view on what he's gone through. And I feel like it's more emotional as well because you can really like connect with him and see where he's coming from, rather than, like I said, just reading through and not really understanding anything like properly.
Would you like all of your history lessons to be taught this way?
Yes.
Okay, let's
let's get into our headsets and then we'll get into our first virtual environment.
I was unlucky and had to share a bunk bed with one other person. These beds were quite narrow, and two people sharing a bed was not easy. What also didn't help that we were all infested with vermin, and it was not really possible to get a night's rest.
So what are you hoping that the impact of this programme will be?
We're at a critical juncture where the Holocaust is moving from living history to just history. Our precious eyewitnesses aren't able to share their stories in schools across the country, and those that are becoming frailer. They can't do this forever. When we see still the Holocaust being denied, distorted and challenged, it's our mission and our duty to ensure the Holocaust is remembered and kept relevant today.
So Manfred, when I experienced the virtual reality platform, I was really drawn to the story where you spoke about how you went as close to the fence as possible in Stutthof to the female camp, and you actually heard your mother's words. What did she say to you and how did it make you feel?
Neither of us knew that the other was still alive, because life was like a lottery. No one knew any morning whether they would still be alive that evening. So catching just a glimpse across that barbed wire of each other was the most comforting thing imaginable at the time.
The ladies' camp was adjoining the men's camp. It was separated by a long, high barbed wire fence. Since we were not working during the day, I frequently went as close as was permitted to that camp in the hope that I might catch a glimpse of my mother.
Often we couldn't get close enough to the fence to exchange any words because there happened to be a guard tower right close to the dividing fence with an armed guard on top, and we were not allowed to approach the fence. So if I came too close to the fence, he would yell and point his gun at me. So I had to move back fairly smartly to stop him shooting at me.
On one occasion, the guard did not spot me fairly close to that division fence, and I could actually hear a sentence my mother shouted at me: "Don't lose hope. This will end. We will be together again."
I remember my mother on occasion either saying to me, "Be a good boy, whatever you're asked to do it to the best of your ability. Don't try to be a hero." And I took that aboard and did try it. It worked. As you can see, I survived.
So Manfred, how do you feel about the use of artificial intelligence technology on this platform?
Over the years, I had become absolutely convinced, by having been told this many, many times by youngsters, that by far, really by a mile, the most effective educational process for them was listening to the testimony of a survivor who could speak in the first person. I was there, it happened to me. One thing the Holocaust can achieve is to make people understand what brutality and unequaled cruelty and sadism can be generated by unlimited propaganda and brainwashing. In today's climate, with the power of the social websites, it can happen in any direction. And what took the Nazis years, if not decades, to achieve, brainwashing a whole population, these social websites can do it in a tiny fraction of that time. And that is a distinct danger. The Nazis had a very, very competent propaganda minister, and he was a clever man. He said, any lie, no matter how far-fetched or how preposterous, how unbelievable it is, will eventually be accepted as truth if it's repeated often enough and loudly enough. And the social websites are the perfect realization of that sentence. And people have to become aware of it. At the moment, people are not, I believe.
Priya, just extraordinary to hear those stories from him and him talking about it. What was the experience like of actually using the AI, and what is going on with the AI? How is it actually working?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because actually what they've done is, when you saw Manfred sitting in the chair, the digital Manfred, and the students speaking to Manfred, that's him, okay? That's real footage of him. It's his real answer. What it isn't is a large language model that you're asking a question to, and then it's essentially coming up with its own answer. So it's real Manfred, real answers. Right. They've used the AI to match the question to the answer. So what they have, Manfred, what he's done is recorded about 1,000 answers. And the Holocaust survivors that are part of this project have each recorded about 1,000 answers. So the AI is there to match the student's question, right? Take speech to text, match the text to the answer, and then they see the real survivor. And again, it's important because we've seen just today that news article that was saying that actually if you ask large language models like a chatbot, it could actually run away with itself and start to fabricate answers and come up with, well, not facts, exactly, untruths. And so it's really, really important to them. It's the true story that lives on. It's protecting history, and then it allows us all to have that conversation with the AI to preserve that history and to learn from it.
A remarkable idea, Priya. Thank you very much for that. Well, coming up, ChatGPT generated film script that's causing real drama for the movie industry.
This, my friend, is the future.
Hello, Jack. I am your new screenwriting assistant.
Learns from every screenplay and adapts. It's going to change the way we work.
And you really think it can stand up to...
We'll be speaking to the director behind this controversial project in just a few moments. Around the world, across the UK, this is BBC News. This is BBC News. Welcome back to AI Decoded. Previously on this programme, we've looked at the impact artificial intelligence is having on the film industry. Last year, US actors and writers went on strike, sparked by, in part, concerns AI will take away jobs, while some filmmakers are actively exploring now its creative possibilities and the implications. Among them is Swiss filmmaker Peter Luisi, whose latest feature, The Last Screenwriter, was written entirely by ChatGPT. Prince Charles Cinema in London was due to hold the premiere, but pulled the screening at the last minute following complaints. In a statement, the cinema highlighted concerns held by many of its audience about the use of AI in place of a writer, which they say speaks to a wider issue within the industry. So let's pick through this, Priya. A lot of thorny, I suppose, moral issues here, but just talk us through what's going on.
Yeah, so you've got a screenwriter. Now, he's a successful screenwriter, so he's actually produced films that have done very, very well in Switzerland, I think. And he decided to create a film, and he wanted to test how good is AI, given that we saw the strikes last year. We covered them extensively, particularly on this programme. And he wanted to understand how good is AI at helping me write a screenplay. So he went about doing that with a short prompt, a very short prompt. He then refined it, and he's produced the film. So I'm really looking forward to seeing the trailer and hopefully reviewing this film at some point.
Okay.
This, my friend, is the future.
Hello, Jack. I am your new screenwriting assistant.
Learns from every screenplay and adapts. It's going to change the way we work.
And you really think it can stand up to a real human writer?
How would you start a screenplay about a screenwriter being challenged by an AI system?
It's like having a supercharged co-writer that never sleeps.
That's, decent.
Sounds like a screenwriter's dream, right?
But it's a machine, Jack. No soul. How can it possibly replace the human element?
Well, let's speak to the director, Peter Luisi, who joins us now from Zurich. Thank you for coming on the programme.
Thank you for having me.
So this film is quite meta intentionally, isn't it? It's written by ChatGPT and it's about ChatGPT writing a film. We saw the criticism there from some in the audiences and that cancellation of that premiere in that cinema. Were you expecting this criticism?
Well, I know from the start that it's a very controversial topic and a taboo, but I thought it's just important to see, like, everyone's afraid that that might steal jobs. And being a screenwriter myself, I was also concerned seeing how good ChatGPT is. So I decided, let's test it. Let's see how good can a film be that's written entirely by AI, by ChatGPT, if a professional team does everything else. So we just took the screenplay, completely written by AI, every word, every plot, every character, everything. And we made the best movie we could. This is the result.
And Peter, production companies use tools like Scriptbook. For example, they use natural language processing, artificial intelligence technology to analyse the scripts. They predict box office success depending on which actors you cast. So we've seen AI being used in the industry before. Are you surprised by the amount of backlash that you've received?
Yes, well, as I said, I knew it was a taboo topic. But yes, I think it would be good to watch the film and discuss it. I mean, that's why we made the film, to start the conversation and see, like, okay, do we need to be worried? What's the status quo? And yeah, let's talk about it. That was really the point. And I want to say it's like a non-profit film. We're releasing the movie for free. Nobody's earning any money. It's really, I'd say it's a film by filmmakers for filmmakers. So I feel like if people knew more about it and would just be open for the conversation, I don't think this film's the enemy, as some people think it is.
Okay. Is it any good? Is ChatGPT any good at this?
I think, yes, it's surprisingly good. And that's what's worried me and why I thought, it could make a whole film. And
so you could be a victim of your own success here, that if you think it is good, that does potentially threaten jobs, and that potentially sides with the side of your detractors here, your critics, who say this is exactly the reason it shouldn't go ahead.
Yes, but it's not, it's not my fault that AI exists, and we have to learn to live with it, and we have to not close our eyes and be worried, oh my God, it's coming, let's just pretend it's not here. No, it's here, let's take a look. What can it do? What can't it do? And
on that, Peter, you are, you're a writer. So are there any specific elements of the script where you thought, humans would have written that in a much better way? Sometimes when I'm on a ChatGPT, I look at the sort of generic text that it gives me and I think, no, it's not quite there. Were there areas that you really wanted to tweak because humans are just better?
Well, of course. That was the difficulty, because I really said the point is not to make the best movie possible. The point is really to make a movie that was entirely written by AI. So, and me being a screenwriter, I kept seeing like, I would do this differently, but I really resisted the temptation to like add my own input. I didn't suggest any scenes. I didn't make it go in certain directions, which I thought would have made the movie better. I really said, okay, this is what ChatGPT wrote. This is what we'll put in the movie.
Now, Peter, Sorry, Peter, so you had some trouble with insurance, so getting insurance for the film and also some further finance. So what were the key reasons why the insurers and the film finance executives wouldn't offer that insurance or further finance?
Well, it's not completely sure what the legal implementations are. And people are just, it's a hot topic. They don't want to touch it. They don't want to you know, be on the wrong side of this conversation, and they're worried that someone might sue the company and nobody knows what's going to happen. And yeah, so
right, and can I ask you to look ahead then? Now that you've been through this project, this experiment in some ways, what do you think the future is here for things like ChatGPT in script writing?
Well, I don't know. I mean, as I said, it's here to stay. We have to deal with it in a constructive way, and I know as much as the next guy what the future's going to be.
And I know, I can't ask you to predict the future, but having gone through this process, are you optimistic, pessimistic, worried, scared, excited?
Well, I mean, if the progress continues at the way it's been going, I'm scared because I might be out of a job soon. I'm a screenwriter. I've been successful. I always thought, hey, I'll be fine. I can write movies. I'll be fine. But now suddenly I realize maybe I won't be fine because the computer might steal my job. And at the moment, there's no need. I mean, at the moment, it can't steal my job without some help. But who knows what the future will hold.
Okay. Just lastly, very, very quickly, because we're almost out of time, are you actually quite pleased with all this publicity of being cancelled? That's only good news for you, no?
Well, first I was very disappointed, but it is now a big topic, and we wanted the movie to be spoken about and the subject to be spoken about. So in a way, that has helped, yes, definitely.
Peter Luisi, thank you very much for coming on the programme in real life with genuine answers from yourself, from your own brain, not from ChatGPT. We really appreciate your thoughts. Thank you very much.